Hey, what's up guys? It's AFK Denver. How are y'all guys doing today? And today I have for y'all an absolute banger of a video. This video isn't exactly one particular story, but multiple into one story about community service from back when I was on probation. Kind of running out of stories, so I just figured I'd try this. And yes, this isn't gameplay that y'all are seeing. For the first time ever on my channel, I'm not using gameplay. This is me riding around on a mini bike, guys. I decided I'd just try something new. Let me know if y'all like this in the comments. If y'all want me to go back to gameplay, I'm perfectly fine with doing that. But, you know, I figured that I'd let y'all on a little bit of an insight onto different things that I do in my life. But this intro is getting a little bit long, so let's just hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that like button, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So yes, back when I got on probation and had community service, so I had 40 hours of community service. I mean, I don't know if that's a lot of community service or a little of community service, because I only had community service from this one incident. So yeah, I got on to probation for tobacco citations back at school. There's actually a video on my channel for that. You know, go ahead and check that out. I might put a card up if I can even find it. I have so many videos on my channel. But yeah, so I ended up getting on probation because of my tobacco citations, and then they also slapped me with 40 hours of community service. And at the time, I was expecting community service to be like super terrible. But actually, when I first had my community service, I had to go to a library. And then I also ended up being in there with a whole bunch of my friends because, you know, delinquent Denver. So, you know, I have a lot of friends who also were on probation at the same time as me. So we all had a community service together. There's like 3 of us at the time. We had to go clean a library. So we're sitting over there, rearranging books, dusting off shelves and stuff. And, you know, we ended up having to sit there, rearranging these books. And then while I was arranging this one bookshelf, I remember this vividly in my mind. There was this guy that was using one of the public computers at the library. I mean, he was not on a very public site, if y'all get what I'm saying. It started with a P, ended with a hub, in a freaking library. So yeah, that is the first crazy incident from community service. And then back at like the juvenile court where we would always have to meet up for community service, there was this old man. I don't even remember his name, so we're just going to call him Mr. Bob. Hopefully that's not his name. But you know, Mr. Bob, an absolute legend. He was ancient, guys. And I remember like 90% of what came out of his mouth was just I mean, I don't know why. I guess like he just had to clear his throat a lot. Maybe he had like, I don't even know what diseases could even make someone do that. But I remember that guy all the time. That was the best one to get for community service, because either you got him or you got like some assistant principal type counselor thing from one of the elementary schools around my school. And this lady, she was just like strict. She treated everybody like an absolute delinquent all the time when they had community service, which I mean, I guess that's fair looking back. But like, I hated this lady, guys. She would non-stop make you go over the time that you were actually supposed to be doing your community service. Like, I remember one day it was supposed to be like 4 to 8, scraping gum off the bottom of desks at an elementary school. No, it was a middle school. So I'm sitting here scraping gum off the bottom of desks at this middle school non-stop. And then I finally get to look at a clock, because first off, you couldn't even have your phones. So I had to find a clock inside of this middle school. Right, it was 9:30. I was still in there scraping gum off desks. And then I'm like, hey, it's an hour and 30 minutes over the time I'm supposed to leave. What's going on? And she's like, oh, we're just going over so you can get some of your more of your community service done. And I'm like, lady, I didn't ask for that. Like, why are you making me do this? My parents have probably been out there waiting to pick me up for like 2 hours. But no, this lady, she would just straight up kidnap me, make me go scrape gum off the desks in her middle school. I remember there was another time where there was this person I didn't know who was also in there for like tobacco citations from a high school. And, you know, I met him for this story. We're going to call him Jordan. So yeah, Jordan, he was a little bit more on the chubby side, just to paint a picture for y'all. He had like orange hair. You know, he was just like the perfect person to like just be a clown when they get older. Like, I don't know, maybe just buy an afro and some face paint and you got yourself a clown. Like, he looked perfect. You know, he was in there with me, and He made this most ghetto thing I have ever seen. So, for those of y'all who don't know what a jewel is, it's basically like a vaping device with like a pod that goes down into it. It's weird. But he had a jewel pod, and he didn't have like the regular jewel. He had a Enjoy. It's just like a little battery, and you also get pods for it, kind of like a jewel, but not really. It was like a way different shape. But he had soldered wires onto that to connect to the jewel pod, and then you would have to hold it on there the entire time that like you wanted to hit it. And there was no like drag hits. Like as soon as the wires would hit, it would just start hitting like automatically. So you had to be like inhaling it or else it was gonna burn. I don't know. It was the most ghetto thing I have ever seen. And mind you, I seen this at community service in a bathroom. And then this day we were up at the fire station. Me and Jordan, I think that's the name we gave him. So me and Jordan, we're sitting up there like, cleaning off like fire trucks, ambulance, and all this stuff. And we heard some crazy stuff up there. Like some of the calls that the ambulance people gave just proved that our town was a complete crack town. Like I remember one night alone, just in like cleaning off ambulances and stuff with like brushes and stuff. They'd get like dispatch calls or whatever, and they'd be like, yeah, we need you to go blah 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 because this lady is trying to commit suicide. She said that she took an entire bottle of Xanax. And I'd just be sitting there like, bruh, an entire bottle? You know how much money that has to cost? Like, that's crazy. And like, there was other things, and they'd be like, oh, someone's overdosing on heroin, go pick them up. Just random stuff like this. And like, that's the only calls I ever heard. Drug-related things were the only things that the ambulance people would ever have to rush out for. But half the time that we were at like the fire and ambulance station, all the ambulances were gone because it's a small town, so there's like 3 of them or something. So most of the time they were all like on duty doing something. So we would just sit there and watch TV with the rest of the firefighters and like just socialize. It was kind of great. But that's basically the summary of me on community service. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's completely different than most of my videos. It's more of a rant than a story. But I hope y'all guys enjoyed. If y'all did, make sure to hit that like button. Let me know what y'all thought about the mini bike riding. I mean, it's kind of different. But, we gotta try new things around here because our subscribers kind of like quit coming in. Good night, guys. Bye.